Surprise! Violent criminals like Luigi Mangione aren't held accountable for their actions when they use a gun in the commission of a crime. But law-abiding people continue to have their Second Amendment rights infringed upon because criminals use guns. What a load of BS. Before diving into the deep end of this topic though, I need to bring you up to speed on the events around this case, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video for a full wrap-up. Welcome to Intuitive Defense. My name is Baker. In this current event video, we're going to talk about the death penalty being pulled off the table for Luigi Mangione, who is the suspected killer of the United Healthcare CEO in 2024, where Luigi used a pistol to assassinate the victim. We're not going into all the details of events surrounding this case or even theories of why this happened. We're going to mainly focus on the pertinent details applicable to this topic. On December 4th, 2024, Brian Thompson, who was United Healthcare CEO, was shot and killed in Manhattan, just outside the entrance to the New York Hilton Midtown. Prior to the killing of Brian, United Healthcare had received a lot of public criticism for its approach to handling and/or denying claims. According to Brian's widow, he had received death threats before this. On December 2nd, 2024, Brian arrived in New York for an investors meeting. 2 days later, December 4th, at approximately 6:45 a.m., Brian was walking towards the Hilton Midtown where the meeting was being hosted when the suspect, Luigi Mangione, shot at Brian from approximately 20 feet away, hitting him in the back and right calf. Following the shooting, the suspect fled the scene on an e-bike. Brian was transported to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The pistol Luigi used for the shooting was a Glock 19, 9mm, which according to reports had some 3D printed parts on it and a 3D printed suppressor. Inscribed on cartridge cases recovered from the scene were the words delay, deny, and depose. As mentioned earlier, Luigi fired 3 rounds, 2 of them striking the intended target, Brian Thompson. During the shooting, Luigi is seen correcting several failure to fire, failure to feed malfunctions, probably as a result of a gassing issue due to the suppressor. He continues to walk towards Brian after Brian falls to the ground. It appears he had the intention of firing more rounds at closer distance, but due to malfunctions, Luigi abandons that idea and escapes. Several days before the shooting, on November 24, 2024, Luigi Mangione arrived at the Port Authority bus terminal in Midtown Manhattan in New York by Greyhound bus, which came from Atlanta, Georgia. That same day, November 24th, he checked into the High New York City Hotel in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. According to reports, he paid for the hotel in cash and used a false New Jersey ID upon check-in. Luigi was arrested 5 days after the shooting in a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Upon his arrest, law enforcement recovered a pistol and a suppressor, both of which are believed to be the ones used in the shooting. Law enforcement also recovered ammunition, a fake ID, and a manifesto detailing grievances against the healthcare industry. Based on Luigi's actions, patterns of movements, and the attempts to shield his identity, along with objects that were recovered in his possession, which we'll get into a little bit more in depth here shortly, it is believed he had prior knowledge that the United Healthcare CEO would be in New York around that time frame, and Luigi specifically went there to assassinate him. Initially, the charges against Luigi, if found guilty on all of them, could have led to the death penalty. But on January 30th, 2026, U.S. District Judge Margaret Garrett dismissed 2 of those charges against the suspect, Luigi Mangione. The charges dismissed were murder through the use of a firearm, specifically using a gun in the furtherance of stalking, and another related firearm offense. The reason for the dismissal of the charges was because the underlying charges, which involved interstate stalking, did not meet the legal definition of a crime of violence under the existing Supreme Court precedent. Garnett ruled that the murder charge was technically flawed. It can be used only in tandem with a crime of violence. The prosecution argued that Mangione's alleged stalking of Thompson met that standard. Garnett disagreed. The analysis contained in the balance of this opinion may strike the average person, and indeed many lawyers and judges, as tortured and strange, and the result may seem contrary to our intuition about the criminal law. Garnett wrote, but it represents the court's committed effort to faithfully apply the dictates of the Supreme Court to the charges in this case, the federal judge added. The law must be the court's only concern. Gun laws. Did they do anything to prevent Luigi from doing this? They absolutely did. Not do anything at all. He was in New York City with a pistol and had no license or permit, which there is against the law. He also had a suppressor in New York City, which is against the law. Said suppressor also did not have a tax stamp as per the National Firearms Act, NFA, which is against the law. He discharged a firearm in a public space within the city, which is against the law. He shot at and shot someone with a firearm, which is also against the law. He murdered someone using a firearm, which is against the law. I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I would say Luigi used a standard capacity Glock magazine that holds 15 rounds. In New York City, any magazine that has a capacity of more than 10 rounds is considered a high capacity magazine and is illegal. So that's against the law as well. He broke around 7 gun laws, but politicians and leaders there were quick to call for more gun laws. What would the additional gun laws do? Absolutely nothing to deter criminals. But you know what additional gun laws would do? Further infringe on the Second Amendment rights and freedoms of law-abiding people. A gun is an object just like a knife, car, bat, or a rock. Objects require a person to interact with them. Therefore, the problem is not the gun or the object, the problem is the person. That's what laws should focus on, is the person, their actions, not objects. The people in charge of holding people accountable for their actions, like judges, district attorneys, and prosecutors, need to stop treating criminals like babies and giving them chance after chance. If someone is a violent person who does not contribute anything positive to society and repeatedly demonstrates that they will not comply with the laws of society, they should be dealt with and their punishment should be quick and severe. Instead, they get a murder charge reduced to a no seatbelt ticket and back out on the streets. Now I'm embellishing that scenario, but that's kind of what it seems like. My point is this. For whatever reason, some people who are responsible for holding criminals accountable for their actions by application of law treat criminals like they are the victims. Criminals aren't the victims. The people criminals brutalize and terrorize are the victims. It is extremely annoying to be told by politicians that my guns, my rights, and my freedoms are the problem, and the only solution to prevent violent crime is to remove my guns, remove my rights, and remove my freedoms. The only reasonable answer as to why that is always the approach is because disarming law-abiding citizens has nothing to do with safety, only control. How about this? Instead of creating new BS gun laws that only work on law-abiding citizens, you prosecute lawless criminals by using the laws already on the books. I know that's a wild idea, and it makes sense, which is probably why it'll never happen. Well, that's it for me, folks. I just want to provide this current event update. If you found this information beneficial, please consider subscribing to our channel. Also, let us know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this topic. Do you think, if found guilty, the death penalty should have stayed on the table for Luigi? Or do you think that it is fair to him that the death penalty is no longer an option for him? Let us know down below. Thank you and have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.